Hey guys, lesson 5. This is going to be an ed puzzle, so you will be expected to stop periodically and type in your answers. In lesson 5, we're using how to use our fractions to help us decide the location of the decimal point. And for the most part, we're going to start with 1/10 and 1/100. So think about how you say that. We say 1/10, we say 100th. And it says product of two decimals. Remember what product means? Product means you're going to multiply. So it's your multiply answer. A lot of kids just say it's an answer. Nope, it's not an answer for anything. It's only an answer when you multiply. So here are several ways to find the product, meaning we're going to multiply 24. And this says 1/10. So 24 times 1/10. We can think of 24 groups of 1/10, which would look like this, 24 times 1/10, which is equal to 24 tenths, which can also be written like this, 24 tenths, which can also be said 2 and 4 tenths. The thing that I notice, and I say with my students a lot, if there's 1 0, you have one decimal place value. So we've also learned earlier in the year that multiplying by 1/10 is the same as dividing by 10. So we can think of the product, our multiply answer, as 24 divided by 10, which is another way to say 2 and 4 tenths. Remember, this is just a period at the end of a sentence. It's very confusing for some kids. All right, so the next problem, think of this place value. This is 7 tenths. And this place value is 9 hundredths with the TH. So we could write this as 7 times 1/10 and 9 times 1 over 100. One of the reasons we do this is so that we can just separate out our digits and do that math and then think about our decimal. So 7 times 9 is 63. And then we think, well, what is 10 times 100? One easy way to do that is to say, well, I would know I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 zeros in my answer. So 1, 1, 2, 3 zeros. So it's 63 times 1 1,000ths, or 63 over 1,000ths. So here's our original problem. How am I going to write that as a decimal? Well, I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So that means my decimal places will be 1, 2, 3. You start at the right-hand side and go this way. So that means I'm going to have a 3, I have a 6, and I have an empty place. What do we do in mathematics with an empty place? We put in our placeholder, which is a 0. This also says 63 thousandths because that is the thousandths place. All right, on the next one. This number says 1 and 5 tenths, or 15 tenths. This number says 43 hundredths, so 15 tenths and 43 hundredths. So 15 times 1/10, 43 times 100. Let's do some side math. 15 times 43. You can stack it. You can do partial product. You can do area model. One thing I'm noticing is a lot of kids do not remember how to multiply. An easier strategy is to do an area model. I like area models because I'm taking that 15 and I'm breaking it into two easier numbers. I always go to a 10 when I do area model. And then 43. And then remember what we know about area from the beginning of the year. Area is length times width. So 40 times 10, that's my length and my width. 4 times 1 is 4 with 2 zeros. This is 3 times 10, so that's 30. This is 40 times 5, so 4 times 5 is 20 with that one extra zero. And this is 3 times 5, which is 15. You're going to add them up. Okay, 645. Now, some of you will do partial product. So 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 10 is 30. 40 times 5. So 4 times 5 is 20 with a 0. And 40 times 10 is 400, which will give us the same answer. I'm running into the next part. So 15 times 43, we did that work right there. And then 10 times 100 is 1,000. So we know 15 times 43, that's just a mistake right there, is 645. And we know we have a thousandths place. So my decimal is, I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I have 1, 2, 3 places. And I have to start on the right. So 5, 4, 6 would be my answer. All right, starting the next part. First thing you need to do is your 6 times 154. I'm going to do it actually 3 different ways. You need to do one way and get an answer before you move on. All right, partial product, 24. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 50. Well, 6 times 5 is 30. It's in the tens place, so it's really 50, so it's really 300. And this would be 6 times 100, which is 600. Now, if you like to carry, 6 times 4 is 24. Remember, we can only have one number in each spot, so our 4 goes down, we carry. 6 times 5 is 30 plus 2 is 32, and a carry. 6 plus 3 is 9. Area model, 6 times 100. 6 times 5 is 30 with a 0. 6 times 4 is 24. Add this all up, 924. So we know our answer is all going to have a 6 and a 154, and we know our answer is going to be 924. The only other thing we have to think about is our decimal place value. Well, this 6 is in the what place? Hopefully you notice that the 6 is in the hundredths place. And the 4 is in what place? Well, 10, 100,000. So it's 154 over 1,000. You have enough information now to choose which answers could be another way to write this problem. It's a select all, which means there's more than one correct answer. Take your time to do that. If we look at the very first one, you'll notice it's very similar to what I wrote. 6 times 100, 24 thousandths. What is 100 times 1,000? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So it'd be 6 times 154. And we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So that sure looks like that. That's my hundreds place. That's my hundreds place. That one is wrong because this is a thousandths place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 places. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So there's 4 correct answers there. All right, turn the page when you're ready. This was a typo. This should say multiply by 1 over 100. So you have 4 separate problems to multiply 1 over 100. And you can work on that for a few minutes. I would write this number as 1,221 over 10 times 1 over 100, which would give me 1, 2, 2, 1 over, what's 10 times 100? 1,000. And then I think, well, I have 3 zeros, so I should have 3 places in my answer. And I have to start on the right. So 1, 2, 2, 1 would be the correct answer. This is going to be 118 over 10, because that's the tens place again, times 1 over 100. So 118, 1, 2, 3 over 1,000, which is 3 place values. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Starting on the right, 8, 1, 1. You can put your leading zero if you want. It is considered optional. 13501 over 10 again, because we just have that one decimal place, times 1 over 100 equals 13501 over, well, 10 times 100 is 1,000. 3 zeros, 3 decimal places. I'll move over. Starting on the right, you can tell we're going to have extra numbers. 1, 0, 5. I'm doing them in order. 3, 1. And the last one, this is 1704 over, what's that place value? Tens, hundredths, thousandths. Times 1 over 100. 1704. Count my zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zeros are the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start writing on the right. 4, 0, 7, 1, 0. What happens to the decimal point of the original number when you multiply it by 1 over 100? Well, if we look at the original problem, it was 122 and tenths and 1/10. Now it's 1 and 221 thousandths. So our decimal point started here and it's moved 2 places to the left. The decimal point moves 2 places to the left. Our number also becomes 100 times smaller. This is 100 times smaller than this. The piece, that means there's 100 of these pieces to make this answer. And when you say smaller, you could say less. All right. Which expression has the same value? So same type of problem we just did. You need to do 6 times 154. Did we just do that same exact problem? All right, so I messed up. For some reason, that's in there twice. Oh, well. And then you can do these. Remember, you have to multiply. So 25 tenths times 14 tenths. You're either stacking or you're doing an area model. Same with this. 64, what's your place value? 81, what's your place value? And you're doing 64 times 81, or you're doing an area model. And this is 9 over something times 14 over something equals something over something. So 9 times 14, sorry, that's in the wrong place. 4 9 times 14. Okay, so you're going to work on those before you go on and check your work. 20 and 5 and 10 and 4. 10 times 20 is 200. 4 times 20 is 80. 10 times 5, 50. 4 times 5, 20. Well, I know 80 and 20 is 100, so that's 350. This is 20. 4 times 20 is 80. That is 50. And that is 200. Which I'm just going to smush in, which is still 350. My place value is a 10 and a 10, which is a hundredths place, 2 zeros. So this would be the correct answer. All right, 64 times 81. I'm going to carry this one. 6 times 4, or 4 times 1 is 4. 6 times 1 is 6. I'm done with that place. 8 times 4 is 32 with the carry. 6 times 8 is 48. 49, 50, 51. 4, 8, 1, 5. This is the hundredths place. This is the hundredths place. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 zeros, which gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 8, 1, 5. Now I could also do the area model, which I kind of ran out of room. 60 and a 4 and 80 and a 1. 48 with 2 zeros. 32 with a 0. 60 and a 4. 4, 8, 0, 0. I'm going to say 324, just so I don't have to write as much. And a 60. Add that up. 4, 8, 11, 5184. So we did it correctly. All right, the last one is 9 times 14. 9 times 4, 36. 9 times 10, 90. 6, 126. Place value, 10, 100. 10 times 100 is 1,000. So it's 126 over 1,000. 1,000 have 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 6. And I didn't even bother to do the area model. All right, turn the page when you are ready. Lesson 6. We're going to show you 3 ways to do the product today. So product is what? That's when you multiply and get an answer. So this is 4 hundredths times 7 hundredths. First, we multiply each decimal by the same power of 10. To get our whole number factors. So we're basically going to turn them into whole numbers. So because 4 and 7 are both in the hundredths place, we're going to multiply those by 100 to get 4 and 7. So it's 28. And then we also multiplied by 100 twice. So we have to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide by 10,000. Okay. So this is 4 times 100 equals 4. And 7 hundredths times 100 equals 7. So 4 times 7 is 28. And then it becomes 28 divided by 10,000 because we did those hundreds twice. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 place values. 28 10,000ths. Here's how you would say that number. All right. We can also do the fraction way, which is what we learned in lesson 5. So 4 hundredths looks like 4 over 100. Excuse me. 7 hundredths looks like 7 over 100, which becomes 4 times 7 is 28. 100 times 100 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 28 10,000ths. The third way, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 0, 0. The third way is the product of 4 hundredths times 7 hundredths is the area of a rectangle, right? This is my width, this is my length. So we have 4 hundredths times 7 hundredths. That's just a little mistake right there. So we think about if 1 square is 0.01. 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, totals 4. 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, all the way across. Total is 7. How do you find the area of 1 square? 1 100th times 1 100th is 1 10,000th. And then we know there's 28 squares because 4 times 7 is 28. So it becomes 28 10,000ths, or, I don't know why there's a wiggly box there. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 place values. Okay, so 3 ways of doing the exact same problem. So we're going to do this down below. If I do an area model, I have 1 whole, and this is in the tenths place, 2 tenths. And here I have 1 tenth, and I have 1 100th. So I could do it like that. Or what if I do it like this? 10 and a 2, 10 and a 1. That's 100. That's a 10. That's a 20. That's a 2. It's 132. This is 1 tenth. This is 1 100th. This is 20. 10, 20, 3 places. So that would be that. And this would be 2 with 3 places. So let's see what we get. I'm running out of room. So we have 2, we have 3, we have 1, and there's our decimal. Now the one without the decimal, I can go back up here and count. Well, I had 1 place here, and I had 2 places there, which is a total of 3 places. 1, 2, 3, get the same answer. So you might prefer to not put your decimal in your area model because it's confusing. So go ahead and try this one. 34 times 2. Do your multiplication and then figure out your place value. 2 times 30 is 60. 2 times 4 is 8. So I know my number is 68. Then I look at my problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. 100 times 100 means I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimals. 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's 10 thousandths, the 10,000ths place. I would do 100, I would do 20, and I would do 2. 100 times 2 is 200. 2 times 20 is 40. So 240 with 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, 3. There's my answer. If this whole rectangle is 4 tenths on this side and 6 tenths on this side, what would 1 square? When it says each, that means 1. Well, that means that's a 1 and that's a 1, and 0.1 times 0.1, or 1 tenth times 1 tenth is 1 100th, right? 10 times 10, 2 places. Well, then I know 4 times 6 is 24. And I know it's 24 hundredths because this is 1/100th, then there's 24 of them. So you're going to basically have 24 times 1/100, which is 24 hundredths, which is 0.24, because there's 2 zeros, or there's 2 places. Okay. And let's go to lesson 7. To calculate the product of two numbers that are written in base 10, which is basically our decimals, we can use what we know about base 10 numbers and areas of rectangles. So continuing to work on that idea of a rectangle and the area. So if a rectangle has side lengths of 3 4/10 and 1 2/10, the area is the product, right? We multiply to find area. To calculate the product and find the area, we decompose. So 3 4/10 could be written as 3 plus 4/10. 1 2/10 could be written as 1 plus 2/10. And then, of course, we're going to find the answers. So I'm going to do this work down here. This first rectangle is a 1 times 3, which is 3. Rectangle, we're going to just put that as rectangle D. And then I'm going to do rectangle B, which is 0.2, or 2/10, times 3. So that's a 6 with 1 place value. Rectangle C is 1 times 0.4. Now you're probably wondering why I'm writing an X. I'm writing an X because it gets confusing between dots and decimals, right? Or multiply dots and decimals. So that's 0.4. I guess I'll put my 0. And then rectangle A is 2/10 times 4/10. Well, I know that's an 8, and 10 times 10 is 100. So it's 800ths. Now, if I'm going to add that up, I have to use decimals, right? Place value. 3 is a whole number, so it has that invisible decimal on the right. And then 0.6, 0.4, 0.08, and then I fill in my other placeholders. 8, 10, carry, 4 800ths. I could also do it partial product. So I would do 34 times 12, and I would get 8. 2 times 30 is 60. 10 times 4 is 40. And 10 times 30 is 300. 8, 10, 408. Go back and check my decimals. There was 1, 2, 1, 2. Same answer. Okay. Go ahead and work on the next part. Basically, find the area of rectangle A, find the area of rectangle B, and then add them together. So this is 1 times 3.1, so that's easy. 3.1, or 3 1/10. This is 3 1/10 times 0.4. I probably would have broke that up to make it easier. So that's 4, that's 12. So that is 12.4. So I had to add 3 1/10. Oh, sorry, 2 decimals. I forgot that one. And 1.24, there's a 0, there's a 4, there's a 3, and there's a 3. This is the total area. It's 2 place values, 2 place values. Okay, more practice. Show Mrs. Page when you finish these 3 problems. All right, lesson 8. We can use what we know about 84 times 43 to reason, or to, let's see what I want to say, and what we know about decimal places, right? Which is base 10. To find the answer to 8 4/10 times 4 3/10. Since 8.4 is 84 tenths, and 4.3 is 43 tenths, then we can do 84 tenths times 43 tenths. 10 times 10 is 100. But we still have to do the 84 times 43 to get the next part, right? So 12, carry 24, 25. I'm done with the 3. 16, carry a 1, 32, 33, 2, 11, 5, 6, 3. So it'd be 3, 6, 1, 2 over 100. Let's see if we're right. So we compute 84 times 43, which we did, and then we divide it by 100. So we end up with 3,612 divided by 100. Well, that's 2 zeros, so that's 2 places. So our answer is 36 and 12 hundredths. We know we need an answer in the hundredths. That's the hundredths place. So we use the fractions 1/10, 100th, 1/1000ths to help us find the product, which is the multiply answer. Make sure you say that to yourself over and over so you remember. First, we write each decimal factor as a fraction or as a product, right? Multiplying a whole number and a fraction. For example, that would be this, right? Whole number and a fraction. Multiply the whole numbers, which is what we did here. Multiply the fractions. That was our, 1/10 times 1/10 equals 1/100th. And then you figure out the whole thing. Put in your decimal place. So what we figure out is if we multiply by 1/10, 100th, or 1,000ths, it's the same as dividing by 10, 100, or 1,000. We can basically move the decimal, or we can think of, I count the amount of decimal places. Okay, I'd count them so that we can correctly place the decimal point. Explain how the product of 3 and 65 could be used to find that answer. Well, first you do 65 times 3. Oopsie. Or you do your area model, 65 times 3. You get your answer, and then you count your place values. How many place values do I have? A total of 4 decimal place values. So I know when I do my answer, I have to have 4 decimal place values. Okay. 3 times 6 is 18 with a 0, 180. 3 times 5 is 15. So that is 195. If I put it on the line, it's 5910. Go ahead and multiply. Three times 5, 15. 2 zeros. 5 times 8, 40. 1 extra 0. 3 times 4 is 12 with 1 extra 0. And 8 times 4 is 32. 1,500 plus 400 plus 120 plus 32. Everything's lined up. So we are lining up our decimal. It's just an invisible decimal when we're adding. 2, 5, 10. And then I count. I have hundreds times a tenth is 1,000. I already know that. 1, 2, 3 is my thousandths. Okay, I can use the same idea to do this rectangle. $325 times 61. Make sure you finish this before you go on. 6 times 3, 18 with 1, 2, 3 zeros. I probably should have written smaller. 300. 1 times 20. 1 times 5. 6 times 2 is 12 with 2 zeros. 6 times 5 is 30 with 1 extra 0. I gotta write small to add all these up. 18000. I want to put those together. 12 and 3 is 15. And then 325. So I don't have to write so many times. 5, 2, 8, 9, 1. And then I go back and see I have hundreds times 10, which is thousands. 1, 2, 3. 1, 9. I'm going to write it again. 19.825. Okay, blueberries and clementines. I need 1/6 of a pound of blueberries. So 3.98 times 0.6. I need 1 8/10 pounds of clementines. So 2.49 times 1.8. Now, sometimes I'll just leave the decimal there, but I don't use it in my calculation. I do all of my multiplying first, then I figure out my decimals. 6 times 8. So go ahead and multiply. 6 times 8, 48. Carry. 6 times 9 is 54. Plus 4, 58. Carry my 5. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 5, 23. I have 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, 3 places. I need to round to money. So this, I look at the 8. It makes me carry. So this is going to be $2.39. 9 times 8 is 72 with a carry of 7. 32 plus 7 is 39 with the 3. 16 plus 3 is 19. I'm done. This is a 9. This is a 4. This is a 2. 2, 18, 10, 14, 4. 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, 3 places. Now this 2 does not make me round, so this money is $4.48. They said they want it to be combined, so that's adding $2.39 plus $4.48. This is a type of problem you'll have on the SBAC or the NOVIA, where you have several parts that you have to do together. So 17, 7, 8, and 6. So $6.87. And that is the end of this video.